Nuno Santo is on his way to Nottingham as Cooper is on the verge of being sacked. Welcome to your Forest News. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are well and welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest news. We're going to give you all the latest breaking news on Steve Cooper and Nuno Santo, as this is gathering pace really quickly. So please take a quick second, hit that like button if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications on. We will keep you posted all day as all the developments come through. But let's jump straight into this and let's tell you exactly what's going on. So I'm being told by extremely solid sources that Nuno is on his way across to Nottingham to finalize the deal. And there is a chance that he could be revealed today or latest tomorrow, depending obviously on all the I's being dotted and the T's being crossed. And at the same time, Cooper is basically already out of the door. Now, let's rewind a bit and kind of tell you the latest developments from what happened from the stream last night to what's happened now. So obviously Romano triggered this whole, what would you call it, avalanche of information coming out yesterday with his tweet that we talked about at length yesterday. And then today you saw The Guardian put a full article basically declaring Cooper sacked in there. And then, as I've been saying to you now, I've been getting sources from our side as well that are saying that he is 100% on his way. But what has happened and how have we reached this stage? And why has it taken so long? Because we've been talking about it for weeks now. Cooper's almost been this kind of limp manager, almost, I don't want to use the words dead man walking, but you know what I'm saying with that. And here's the jigsaw puzzle being pieced together and becoming clearer. So Lopetegui was the first name that has been chucked around from a couple of weeks ago that Marinakis was interested in. We also heard Glasner was high up the list. Now, Lopetegui has had contact. There have been conversations. And my understanding is that Lopetegui wanted more money than probably Marinakis was willing to spend. No doubt as well, there would have been talks about transfer budgets, about players going in, players going out, expectations, etc. So it sounds like Lopetegui was actually the Greek father's first choice. Now, following on from that, obviously, as I keep telling you, there's going to be a black book of managers' names. Glasner and Nuno were the two that have been talked to, if not interviewed, by the Marinakis and his team. And both of them are willing to come to Nottingham Forest. So it's come down to a decision of whether Marinakis wanted Nuno or Marinakis wanted Glasner. And I think when you weigh this up, you can see the logic behind where Marinakis is going. Why? Because Glasner obviously has won the Europa Cup. He's done really well in the Bundesliga, but he doesn't have that Premier League experience. And when you weigh that up against Nuno, who promoted Wolves comfortably, then took him straight into 7th, then 7th again, quarterfinals of the Europa Cup, and then 13th in his final season before then he got himself an upgrade, if you like, to Tottenham. That CV on a Premier League level sounds way, way safer than the likes of Glasner. So I think personally, and I don't know this, but this is kind of just following the logic, this is why Marinakis has gone this way with Nuno over Glasner. But obviously nothing has been finalized and confirmed. But I am expecting the announcement either today or tomorrow from what I'm hearing from the people I'm talking to. But what do you guys think? Do you want Nuno in ahead of Cooper? Do you want Nuno in ahead of Glasner? Or would you go and pay the big bucks and get Lopetegui? But right now, I'm saying with like 90% certainty, it's going to be Nuno. Unless when he gets to Nottingham, there's something that they can't resolve, then that's going to create obviously the problem. Get your thoughts in down below. Okay, so what does this mean? And basically, what is going to be the plan for Nottingham Forest? Because there is still a huge divide, looking on social media, talking to people, etc., that people still do want Cooper in. And, you know, once and if Cooper leaves, I'll have nothing but love for him. Yes, I've not been his biggest fan, but I will not forget what he's done for the club with the promotion, with survival last year, etc. But my biggest fear in all of this is the longer it got dragged on, the more tarnished his reputation becomes. It's better to leave when you're kind of at the top of the mountain, so to speak. So that's one thing for me, that Cooper's legacy needs to remain intact. And I am very firm on that one. I think that's a non-negotiable as far as I'm concerned. But in terms of what happens next and what is the plan, well, what we gotta understand is that whoever comes in after Cooper, by de facto, from a certain section of the fan base, they will not be happy whoever it could be Pep Guardiola coming in, and there'll be people saying that Cooper would have done a better job. So I think the most important thing is that the fans instantly get behind whoever the new manager is. Because if we're divided before he's even kicked a ball or his team has kicked a ball, then what chance does he have of winning the fan base over? Now, football fans in general are fickle. A couple of quick wins on the bounce and suddenly, you know, everything is forgiven, everything is forgotten, everyone's chanting his name. So Nuno will know that that's going to be the case. And he did that at Spurs. Yes, his tenure at Spurs ended in a bit of a flop, but look what he did at the start. Win, 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 win. It went 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. So he has a reputation for getting a quick start out of it. But I think the most important thing you're going to see is this bit, because a lot of fans are saying, well, how's he going to get a tune out of these players if Cooper couldn't get a tune out of these players? Marinakis isn't suddenly going to give him a whole new squad. But I just ask those guys this simple question. If that's your thought process, I'd love your answers in the comments down below. When Houghton left Forest and Cooper came in, were they not the same players? Did Cooper not take those same set of players, barring a couple of additions in January, which was a couple of months down the road, from bottom of the Championship to the Premier League? We've seen it so many times when managers come in. And why does this happen? Because suddenly players feel, look, as much as they talk about cohesion within the ranks at Forest, there is players that are not happy. That will always be the case in any club. And those players will now get an opportunity to impress the new manager. We've talked about potential recalls. I know Dennis and Scarpa, for example, are injured, but in theory, they could be brought back in. And that's two new fresh faces who can look to impress a manager who they have no history with. There's a lot that can be done. And certain players and formations that come in will obviously catch the manager's eyes. Players that are in this team will catch the manager's eyes maybe in his setup and in his formation. And also, I have to say that the backroom staff needs upgrading, because all due respect to the likes of Tate, etc., they haven't had that Premier League experience. And Nuno will come in and he will want his own separate coaching team, ones that he's used before and trusted with. That's part and parcel of what happens with football. So my message to the Forest fan base is this: whether you're fully still Cooper in, whether you're Cooper FC, whether you're Cooper out, whatever side of the fence you sit on, the bottom line is this is what unites us, this Nottingham Forest club. We have to get behind this manager. This manager, whoever Marinakis appoints, will have my full support going forward, because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing for Nottingham Forest. So I'll leave you guys with that thought, but we will be breaking everything to you as it comes today. So make sure, one, you've hit the like button if you haven't already, but you're subscribed, and more importantly, have your notifications on. Today is going to be a big day. We've still got Frank Clark scheduled for 7 p.m. today. God knows what's going to happen between now and then, and maybe even after. But we will keep you posted. Get all your thoughts in about what you feel about the manager. There's also a poll on the community tab, because I want to know which manager you actually want. You got the choice of Cooper, Nuno, Lopetegui, and Glasner. Let me know there. We'll see you very shortly, no doubt. Come on, you Reds.